The hallway was still warm from their breath when the pounding began. Not a knock, not a tap. A violent, shaking blow that rattled the door behind Amara's back and snapped Ethan's head toward the noise like a wolf that just scented danger. "Ethan," Amara whispered, but her voice barely made it out before the next hit crashed against the wood. "Open up," a deep voice barked. "Vale, I know you're in there." Ethan pulled Amara behind him instantly, his arm moving without thought, instinct taking over faster than fear. His tone dropped to a low warning. "Stay behind me." Another hit, harder. The hallway lights flickered. Ethan stepped toward the door, voice sharp. "Identify yourself." "It's Harold from security," the voice yelled back. "It's urgent." Ethan didn't move. His jaw flexed. "Then say the code." Silence. A cold, heavy silence that made Amara's heartbeat trip over itself. Then, "We don't have time for codes," the voice snapped. Ethan raised one eyebrow at the door. "Then you're not Harold." Amara's knees nearly buckled. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. Someone else trying to hide their breathing. Whoever stood outside wasn't alone. Ethan's fingers curled into a fist, his breathing deepening, his stance shifting just slightly. Protective, dangerous, ready. Then he whispered to Amara without looking back. "Go to your bedroom. Now." She didn't move. "I'm not leaving you." He glanced over his shoulder, eyes sharp and burning. "Amara, go." Her throat tightened. She swallowed hard, but shook her head. "No, I'm not running from whoever that is." A muscle in Ethan's jaw twitched. For a split second, the protective billionaire and the terrified man under the armor collided. But he didn't have time to argue. The lock clicked. Amara gasped. Ethan stepped forward, slamming his palm against the door to hold it in place. "How did you get access?" A low, mocking laugh seeped through the wood. "Relax, golden boy. I'm not here to hurt you." Amara knew that voice. Her stomach dropped. Jonas. Ethan's chest heaved once, just once, before he pulled the door open with such force Jonas staggered forward. "What the hell do you want?" Ethan growled. Jonas smoothed his suit, smirk already forming. "To warn you." Amara stepped out from behind Ethan, rage rising in her throat. "You followed us home?" Jonas's eyes flicked to her. "Oh good, the seamstress lives. I was worried all the crying earlier meant you'd shattered." Ethan moved so fast Amara didn't see it. 1 second Jonas was smirking. The next, Ethan had him pinned against the hallway wall, forearm pressed to his throat. "Choose your words very carefully." Ethan's voice dropped to a deadly calm. Jonas chuckled even with the pressure on his windpipe. "Still so dramatic?" Amara looked down the hallway. Empty. Too empty. The building was quiet, eerily. Quiet. "Jonas," she snapped, "why are you here?" He finally looked at her, really looked, and the smirk died. His expression shifted into something more serious. Unsettlingly serious. "You need to leave this apartment," Jonas said. "Both of you." Ethan's grip tightened. "Is that a threat?" "It's a warning," Jonas rasped. "Something's coming tonight, and you're not ready." Ethan let him go with a shove. Jonas coughed, straightened his collar, then fixed Ethan with a stare that chilled the hallway. "The board is meeting right now," Jonas said. "Not tomorrow, not in the morning. Now." Ethan's expression froze. "They're voting to suspend you permanently." Amara's breath caught. "What?" "But Mara, she's the one—" Jonas held up a hand. "Don't interrupt. I'm risking my job being here." Ethan scoffed. "You don't do anything that doesn't benefit you." Jonas tilted his head. "True. And right now, keeping you alive benefits me." Amara blinked. "Alive?" Jonas turned toward her. "You really think breaking into the server room and stealing incriminating files goes unnoticed?" She stepped back. "We didn't break." Ethan cut in. Say what you came to say, Jonas. Jonas glanced down the hallway, lowering his voice. Someone wants her gone, Ethan. Not disgraced. Gone. The word hung in the air like poison. Ethan felt his stomach turn. Who? Jonas's eyes darkened. Someone who thinks she ruined everything. Someone who believes your father would have handled this differently. Someone who sees her as the final obstacle. Amara's pulse pounded in her ears. Mara. Jonas didn't answer. I didn't need to. Ethan took one step forward. Where is she? Jonas exhaled hard. Already ahead of you. She's with the board now, and she brought evidence. What evidence? Amara demanded. Jonas's mouth twitched. Footage of you. Her chest caved in. What footage? New footage, Jonas said quietly. The kind that won't be easy to disprove. Ethan's fists clenched so tight his knuckles cracked. You mean fabricated? Jonas nodded. And very, very convincing. The air thickened. The lights buzzed above them. And then a sharp beep echoed from Ethan's pocket. A new notification. Ethan pulled out his phone. His face drained. Amara whispered, What is it? Ethan turned the screen toward her. A news alert. Breaking new footage shows Amara Jones destroying couture gown in private fitting room. Amara staggered. No, that's not possible. I wasn't even... Ethan grabbed her arms, steadying her. Look at me. Look at me. You didn't do this. I know you didn't. Jonas stepped back slowly. You have maybe an hour before it goes completely viral. Once it does, you won't survive the press or the board. Ethan's voice turned lethal. Why are you helping us? Jonas smirked sadly. I'm not. I just like to watch you squirm. He started walking backward, hands slipping into his pockets. But if you want to survive tonight, he met Ethan's eyes. Run. He disappeared into the elevator. The doors shut. Silence swallowed the hallway. Amara pressed a shaking hand to her mouth. Ethan, what do we do? Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed her hand. We fight. He didn't care where Jonas went or who waited outside. He had one goal: protect her, clear her name, expose the truth. Get your shoes, Ethan said, voice steady with a fire that made Amara breathe again. We're leaving, right now. She nodded, shaking. Where are we going? Ethan's eyes were sharp enough to cut steel. To stop a war before they burn you alive. If this story has you on the edge already, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment. Episode 2 is only getting more intense. Amara's hands wouldn't stop shaking as she shoved her feet into her sneakers. She could feel Ethan moving behind her, his energy sharp and controlled, like he was holding himself together with pure force. Phone, he said. Charged? She checked. 60%. Good. Keep it on you. Don't answer unknown numbers. She grabbed her small bag, slinging it over her shoulder. Where are we going? He opened her door, scanning the hallway. To someone who hates the board almost as much as I do. That doesn't narrow it down, she muttered. Camille? He said. Her heart thudded. Do you trust her? I trust that she wants to win, Ethan said. Right now, our survival helps her do that. They moved quickly down the hallway. The building felt too quiet, like the world had taken a breath and forgotten to exhale. As they reached the elevator, Amara's phone buzzed. She flinched. Don't look at it, Ethan said. She looked anyway. It was Jade. You okay? Do not go on social media. Her throat tightened. It's everywhere already, isn't it? Ethan pressed the elevator button hard. Not yet, but it will be. The doors slid open. They stepped inside. For a few seconds, it was just the hum of the cables and the pounding in Amara's chest. She stared at their reflection in the elevator door. Him in his white shirt and loosened tie, shoulders squared, fury simmering. Her smaller beside him, eyes blown wide, hair messy, looking like someone who'd been dragged into a storm she didn't ask for. "You believe me, right?" she asked quietly. His head snapped toward her. "I wouldn't be here if I didn't." "That's not an answer." He didn't look away. "Yes, Amara, I believe you." Something in her unclenched, not all the way, but enough to keep breathing. The doors opened into the lobby. The night guard glanced up, did a double take, then froze like he'd just seen a gun. Ethan gave him a short nod that said, "Don't." The guard looked back down. Outside, the city hummed like nothing was wrong. Car lights blurred. Distant sirens wailed. Somewhere, people were laughing over drinks and taking selfies, having no idea a digital noose was tightening around one woman's neck. A black car pulled up almost instantly. Amara frowned. "You called a driver?" "I never canceled my security contract," he said. "Get in." She slid into the back seat. Ethan followed, shutting the door with a firm click. "Where to, sir?" the driver asked. "Camille's building," Ethan said. Amara blinked. "You know where she lives?" "We've worked together a long time." "Right." Her stomach twisted. "Does anyone else you've worked with want me dead?" He looked over at her sharply. "Don't say that." "Well, someone does," she snapped softly. "Or did you miss the part where gone meant more than fired?" His jaw flexed. "I heard it. I just don't accept it." She laughed once, bitter. "You don't get to reject reality just because you don't like it." He tilted his head, eyes dark. "Watch me." Their eyes locked. She broke first, looking away, staring out at the blur of city lights. "What if it works?" she whispered. "What if everyone believes it?" "Then we outwork the lie," he said. "How?" "By proving who had the power to create it," he said, "and why." The car fell quiet for a while. Amara forced herself not to open any apps. She'd seen enough headlines in the last week to last a lifetime. She looked at him again. "Why did Jonas warn us?" "Because chaos benefits him," Ethan said. "If I go down, he steps closer to the power he thinks he deserves. But not if I die. He needs me breathing to fight." "That's messed up." "Welcome to legacy corporations," he said. She studied his profile, the tired shadows under his eyes, the way his fingers tapped once against his thigh and then stilled, like he was training his own body not to show nerves. "Were you scared?" she asked quietly, "when they voted to suspend you?" He didn't answer right away. "Yes," he said, "not to lose the title, of losing control over how they hurt everyone else." She swallowed. "You mean me? And the people who work under me, the ones who don't have lawyers on speed dial. And now?" "Now I'm angry," he said simply. "Anger's easier to work with." The car slowed outside a tall, sharp-edged building with mirrored glass, the kind of place that said, "We care about art, but we care about money more." Ethan opened the door. "Stay close." They stepped out into the chill night. Ethan keyed in a code at a side entrance, and the door buzzed open. "How do you have her code?" Amara asked. "I installed the security," he said. "Of course you did," she muttered. They rode the elevator up. On the 15th floor, he knocked once on a matte black door. No answer. He knocked again, louder. "Camille? Open up. It's urgent." A lock clicked. The door opened a crack. One cool brown eye appeared through the gap. "You know it's past the hour when normal people stop talking about work," Camille said. "Good thing none of us are normal," Ethan replied. She opened the door wider, took in Amara's pale face, Ethan's expression, the tension in the air. Her smirk faded. "What happened?" she asked. "New footage," Ethan said. "Fake, bad, and the board is meeting tonight." She stepped aside. Come in. The apartment was surprisingly warm. Soft lighting, art on the walls, a large table buried under sketches and fabric. It smelled like perfume and coffee, and something faintly floral. Sit, Camille said, pointing at the couch. Amara sat. Ethan stayed standing. Camille grabbed a tablet. Show me. Ethan pulled up the alert again and handed it to her. She tapped, then watched in silence. Amara couldn't see the screen from where she was, but she didn't need to. The way Camille's face tightened told her enough. Damn, Camille whispered. They didn't hold back this time. What does it show? Amara asked, voice barely there. Camille's eyes flicked to her. You, in a private fitting room, slashing the dress with a seam ripper, smiling. Amara went cold. That never happened. I know, Camille said. Do you? Amara's voice wobbled. Because honestly, I'm running out of people who do. Camille walked over, crouched in front of her so they were eye level. Look at me. Amara did. Of course I know, Camille said. You don't smile when you work. You bite your lip like the world is about to collapse. Whoever made this doesn't know you. I do. Something stung behind Amara's eyes. She blinked it back. Ethan crossed his arms. We need to stop the board vote. Too late, Camille said, standing. By the time we get there, they'll be halfway through shredding whatever's left of your reputation. That's encouraging, Amara muttered. Camille paced once, then stopped. Okay, you won't stop them by barging into the room and shouting. That was plan A, Ethan said. I know. She shot him a look. That's why I'm here. She tapped the tablet again, rewinding. We don't need to stop the vote tonight. We need to make sure anything they decide is unstable by morning. Amara frowned. How? By making this video unusable, Camille said. How do you make a video unusable? Ethan asked. By proving it violates something scarier than your board, Camille replied. Terms, laws, platforms, liability. If the evidence becomes a legal risk, they can't use it publicly. Amara's head spun. So what, Sue? Eventually, Camille said. Right now we make them hesitate. You don't fight rich people with emotion. You fight them with consequences. Ethan's lips twitched. Remind me why you don't run the company. I like my sleep, Camille said. Hand me your phone, Amara. Amara hesitated, then passed it over. Camille opened the camera app, then the filters. This video is sloppy. Whoever made it doesn't understand small things. Perspective, shadow behavior, reflection consistency. They were rushed. We use that. She handed the phone back. Tomorrow we're going to tear it apart. Publicly if we have to. Tomorrow, Amara echoed. What about tonight? Camille looked at Ethan. Tonight you stall. How? He asked. Call Jonas, she said. Tell him you'll walk into the vote. Amara stared. Are you insane? They'll eat him alive. That's the point, Camille said calmly. He'll try to stop you. He'll move pieces to block you. And while he's busy, whoever's controlling that video will have to rush. Rushed people make mistakes. Ethan considered it, eyes distant. You're gambling. Always, Camille said. Amara grabbed the cushion, fingers digging into the fabric. And what do? Camille's gaze landed on her. You rest. Amara almost laughed. Rest? With my life on fire? You want to go on camera tomorrow and dismantle a fake video? Camille asked. Then you need a voice that doesn't sound like it's breaking. Ethan looked at Amara. Really looked. She was still shaking. He took a slow breath. She's right. I don't want to be right, Camille sighed. But here we are. Amara swallowed. What if they fire you tonight? Ethan's lips curved in a humorless smile. Then tomorrow we fight from the outside instead of the inside. She hated how calmly he said it. Ethan, she whispered, if they fire you because of me, stop, he said gently. They're doing this because I changed the rules. You're just the easiest proof they can punish. She stared at him, chest aching. You changed them too, he added quietly. Her breath hitched. How? You walked in and refused to act grateful for crumbs, he said. That terrifies them. Silence settled for a beat. Then Camille clapped once. Break's over. Ethan, call Jonas. Amara, bathrooms down the hall. Splash some water on your face before you shatter. Amara stood on unsteady legs. As she walked down the hallway, she heard Ethan's voice behind her, low and sharp, already shifting into negotiation. She leaned against the bathroom sink, gripping porcelain until her knuckles hurt. Her reflection stared back at her, tired, scared, angry. She didn't recognize the woman looking back, but she liked her more than the one who used to apologize for breathing. Amara splashed cold water on her face again, letting it drip down her neck. Her heartbeat hadn't calmed. Her hands still trembled. Her mind kept replaying Jonas's words, Camille's analysis, Ethan's jaw tightening, like he was ready to punch the entire world on her behalf. She dried her face with one of Camille's overly perfect towels, inhaling the faint lavender scent. It grounded her for a second. Not enough to erase the panic, but enough to breathe. When she stepped out, she heard Ethan's voice sharp and cutting from the living room. You're lying, he said. If the board called an emergency meeting, there should have been a notice. Jonas's voice crackled over the speakerphone, smug even through the distortion. Oh, there was a notice. Just not to you. So they locked me out. Yes, Jonas said. Congratulations on catching up. Amara froze near the corner, listening. If you're trying to help, Ethan said, you're doing a shitty job at it. I'm not trying to help, Jonas answered. I'm trying to keep the company from exploding so badly it takes all of us down. You mean so badly it takes you down, Ethan snapped. There was a pause. Then Jonas's voice softened, unusually. Ethan, I know I'm an ass, but I'm not stupid. If they push this through tonight, the stock drops, investors panic. And the new footage? It's coordinated. Someone wants a spectacle. And who benefits from the spectacle? Camille cut in smoothly. There are a few candidates, Jonas said, but I'm not dropping names on a call that's definitely being monitored. Ethan's expression hardened. Who's monitoring you? You're adorable, Jonas said, as if we aren't all being watched. Amara's stomach twisted. Camille met her eyes briefly. There was understanding there, and something like pity. Ethan stepped closer to the phone. What's the end game? Tonight, Jonas replied. You lose your vote. She gets her reputation torched. Tomorrow they will appoint an interim CEO. Who? Ethan demanded. The pause told them before Jonas answered. Someone who's been waiting for this. Mara. Even saying her name felt like poison. Amara felt something inside her snap, like a thread pulled too tight. She stepped forward before she even knew she was moving. Put her on the phone. Ethan turned. Amara. No, she said, voice steady, stronger than she felt. I want to hear what she says when I ask why she wants to destroy my entire life. That's a great idea, Jonas said dryly. Let's put the Queen Cobra on speaker. Do it, she insisted. Jonas hesitated. You won't like what she says? Good, Amara said. Then at least she'll stop hiding. Camille nodded once, approving. Ethan looked like he'd rather throw Jonas off a balcony, but he didn't stop her. Jonas sighed. Your funeral. There were muffled footsteps, the sound of a door opening, and then a very familiar voice. Cool, sharp, polished like steel dipped in perfume. What is it? Mara asked. Amara felt every muscle in her body go rigid. The urge to scream, cry, and break something all collided in her chest. Jonas said, "Someone wants a word with you." "Who?" Amara stepped closer. "Me." A beat of silence. Then Mara laughed, a soft, almost pitying sound. "Well," Mara purred, "how does it feel?" Amara's jaw tightened. "How does it feel?" "To finally understand that talent doesn't protect you," Mara said. "Connections do." Ethan lunged for the phone, but Camille raised a hand, stopping him. Amara didn't blink. "Why me? What did I ever do to you?" "You existed in a space that didn't belong to you," Mara said calmly. "You walked into this industry and believed hard work would save you. You thought Ethan would save you. That's what makes you dangerous. You don't know your place." "My place?" Amara whispered. "Yes," Mara said, "and removing you will restore balance." Ethan growled, "Mara, I swear to—" "Oh, hush," Mara snapped. "You made this mess when you dragged her into your spotlight. She couldn't handle it. You knew that." Camille's eyes flicked to Ethan, studying his reaction. Mara added, "You're both liabilities. The board sees that now." "Why fake a video?" Amara demanded. "Why go that far?" "Because people believe what they see," Mara answered. "Truth is boring. Scandal moves faster." Ethan's fists shook. "And besides," Mara finished lightly, "I needed you gone before the gala. You were becoming an eyesore." Amara's breath caught. Something unrecognizable rose inside her, anger so sharp it steadied her hands. She said quietly, "I'm not afraid of you." Mara hummed. "You should be." "Why?" "You're not fighting me," Mara said. "You're fighting the people who trained me." That hit Ethan like a knife. Jonas hissed through his teeth, "You shouldn't have said that." Mara clicked her tongue. "He wants to play the hero. Let him." By morning, Ethan Vale will be removed from his position. The company will back my evidence, and Amara Jones will be trending for all the wrong reasons. It's already set in motion. Ethan's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "You think this ends with a video?" "Oh no," Mara replied sweetly. "It ends with her disappearing from the industry entirely. Permanently." The line clicked. The call ended. Silence swallowed the apartment. Amara could hear her own breath, shallow, uneven. Every bone in her body felt cold. Camille whispered, "She's not acting alone." "I know," Ethan said through clenched teeth. "This is bigger." Camille paced once, shook her head. "There's no way she got that footage made so fast. Someone with serious reach is pulling strings." "And money," Ethan said. Amara forced herself to breathe. "So what do we do?" Ethan stepped toward her, placing his hands gently on her shoulders, grounding her. "We don't run," he said. "We expose them." Her voice trembled. "How?" Ethan leaned in. "By being faster, smarter, and louder than the people trying to erase you?" She searched his eyes. They were burning. With fury, with certainty, with something fierce and unshakable. She nodded. "Okay." "Good," he said softly. "Stay with me. Don't leave my side." Camille exhaled, rubbing her temples. "Then we need to move. Now. We don't have long before the board's decision goes public." Amara straightened. "Where first?" Ethan answered instantly. "Jonas's office." Camille blinked. "Why?" Ethan's voice sharpened. "Because if Mara slipped and mentioned who trained her—" Camille's eyes widened. "Then it's someone Jonas knows," Ethan finished. A rush of cold went down Amara's spine, and the three of them moved. Fast. The ride back to Vale Couture felt like moving through a city that didn't know a war had started. Cars passed, streetlights flickered, the sidewalks buzzed with nightlife. But inside the car, the world narrowed to a tight, breathless silence. Amara sat between Ethan and Camille, her fingers twisting in her lap. Every time she inhaled, She felt the weight of Mara's voice echoing in her skull. You don't know your place. She clenched her jaw. Ethan glanced at her, noticing the tension in her hands. He placed his palm on top of hers. Firm, steady, grounding. You okay? He murmured. No, she admitted. But I'm here. He nodded once, as if that meant more to him than anything. Camille leaned forward from the passenger seat. Jonas's office is probably locked. You'll need my access. Ethan arched his brow. How do you have his access? Because, Camille sighed, Jonas never locks his screens when he gets up to flirt with interns. Amara blinked. He flirts with interns? Oh, constantly, Camille said. He once tried it with me. Biggest mistake of his life. Ethan smirked, despite the tension. What did you do? Explained what would happen to his bloodline if he didn't back up, Camille said simply. Amara almost laughed. Almost, but her chest was too tight. They reached the building. Ethan paid the driver, then turned to Camille. Keep your phone silent. If Mara's people are watching, they'll pick up interference. They always watch, Camille muttered. They stepped into the lobby. Security froze the moment they saw Ethan. Sir? Not now, he said sharply. We're not here. Yes, sir. They took the elevator up. The ride was painfully slow. Ethan paced, hands fisting and unfisting. Camille reviewed something on her phone. Amara kept her eyes on the doors, breathing through the rising panic. When the elevator dinged open on Jonas's floor, the lights were dim. Too dim. The hallway was empty. Ethan stopped, scanning the space. He turned to Camille. Access. She stepped forward, tapped her card against the office lock. A soft beep sounded and the door clicked open. Ethan pushed it gently. The office was dark, but not empty. Someone had been there recently. Papers littered the desk. A chair knocked over. The faint smell of cologne lingering in the air. Camille cursed under her breath. He knew we were coming. Ethan moved inside slowly, carefully, eyes narrowed. No, someone else got here first. Amara stepped behind him, heart thudding. Who would break into Jonas's office? Someone who doesn't want us connecting the dots, Ethan said. Camille walked toward the desk, scanning quickly. His laptop is gone. Ethan's eyebrows shot up. Jonas doesn't go anywhere without his laptop. Exactly, Camille said, which means he didn't take it. A soft creak sounded behind them. Amara spun. Ethan, he moved before she finished, stepping in front of her as a shadow crossed the doorway. Lucas. The operations chief stood there, hair messy, shirt untucked, breathing like he'd sprinted across the entire floor. Vale? Lucas said urgently. You shouldn't be here. Ethan's stance didn't shift. Why? Planning to lock the doors on me too? Lucas stepped inside, shutting the door quickly and lowering his voice. I came straight from the boardroom. Amara's stomach twisted. Did they vote? Lucas nodded, but his expression tightened. And? Ethan demanded. Lucas swallowed. It's bad. Ethan took one step closer. Say it. They voted to strip you of your voting power effective immediately, Lucas said. The decision goes public in the morning. Amara felt the room tilt. Ethan's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes darkened. Lucas continued. Mara presented the footage as her primary evidence. She framed it as protecting the integrity of the brand. Ethan's jaw locked. Of course she did. That's not the worst part, Lucas added. Camille exhaled sharply. Of course it's not. Lucas hesitated, then looked directly at Amara. They voted to blacklist you, Amara. Her blood ran cold. Blacklist? Ethan stiffened. Explain. Lucas swallowed. Industry-wide. No major fashion house can hire her. No contract, no studio, no runway work. She's flagged as a liability and a threat. Amara couldn't breathe. Ethan stepped forward. You're telling me they destroyed her career based on fake evidence? Lucas nodded, voice quiet. They're calling it a universal risk mitigation request. Amara felt something crack inside her. So what? I can't work again? Lucas winced. Not publicly, not in your name. Ethan's voice sliced the air. They'll reverse it. Camille leaned on the desk. Not unless we burn down whatever evidence Mara used. Lucas nodded grimly. Which is why I'm here. I think I know who helped her. Ethan turned to him sharply. Who? Lucas walked toward a filing cabinet near Jonas's desk, pulling out a thick folder and tossing it onto the table. It slid across the wood, stopping right in front of Amara. She picked it up with trembling hands. Inside were names, dates, financial transfers, encrypted email logs, and one name circled in red ink, a name she didn't expect. Her voice cracked. This can't be real. Ethan moved beside her. Amara, what is it? She pointed at the name. Evelyn Jones. Her grandmother. Ethan frowned. No, that's impossible. Amara's entire body started shaking. Why is her name here? Why would her name be connected to... It's not what you think, Lucas cut in quickly. I don't think Evelyn is involved, but someone used her name. Camille took the folder, flipping through. They created a ghost account, attached it to Evelyn's ID. Someone's framing your grandmother as the access point. No, Amara shook her head. She doesn't even use email like that. That's why they chose her, Camille said softly. Ethan's hand tightened on her shoulder. Amara, look at me. She did, barely. We'll fix this. Her voice came out a whisper. Why would they drag my family into this? Ethan's eyes filled with something she hadn't seen before. Fear. Because whoever they were dealing with wasn't just sabotaging her career, they were aiming deeper. And Ethan knew it. Because, Ethan said quietly, this isn't a boardroom attack anymore. His voice dropped lower. This is personal. Amara's grip tightened on the folder until the edges bent. Her grandmother's name, Evelyn Jones, written in red ink, circled like she was a criminal. Her breath hitched. She didn't do any of this. She wouldn't even know how. Ethan stepped closer, voice soft but firm. I know. They're using her as a shield. Amara pressed a hand to her mouth, fighting the rising panic. Why target her? Why drag her into this? Lucas exhaled. Because they need a clean access point. Evelyn has no digital footprint, no history that can conflict with the planted data. It makes her the perfect scapegoat. Camille rubbed her forehead, pacing. This means they've been planning longer than we thought. You don't frame a random relative unless you know exactly how to weaponize their identity. Ethan's eyes narrowed, which means someone gathered personal information on Amara. Amara shivered. My grandmother's shop. The attack. The messages. Ethan's hand slid to her back, grounding her. This is connected. Lucas nodded. It's the same signature, same timing, same precision. Amara stared at the page again. Her grandmother's name, neatly typed, violated, used like bait. She whispered, She's not safe. No, Ethan said quietly. She isn't. He took the folder gently from her hands. We need to get ahead of this. How? She finally choked out. What am I supposed to do? My name is ruined. The board hates me. Someone is framing my grandmother, and now I'm some kind of target? Her voice broke. Ethan pulled her toward him without hesitation. She didn't fight it, didn't pretend she was fine. Her head pressed against his chest, his arms wrapping around her, his breath shaking almost as much as hers. Camille's expression softened, just for a moment, before she turned away to give them space. Lucas looked down awkwardly, pretending to fix a stack of papers. Ethan whispered into Amara's hair, "I swear to you, we will break every person behind this. I will not let them touch you, or her." Amara clung to his shirt, tears soaking into the fabric. "They're trying to erase me?" "They won't," he said. "Not while I'm breathing." She exhaled shakily, pulling back, wiping her face. Camille stepped closer, tone calm but firm. "Emotions later, strategy now. We need to find Jonas before whoever did this finds him first." Amara blinked. "Why would they go after Jonas?" "Because he knows something," Camille said. "He knows who trained Mara. He just doesn't realize how dangerous that knowledge is." Lucas added, "If Jonas's laptop is missing, someone either stole it to erase evidence or to lure him." Ethan's jaw tightened. "He wouldn't go down without a fight." Camille arched a brow. "Jonas's idea of fighting is writing a passive-aggressive email." Lucas grimaced. "He's been stressed, paranoid. He told me yesterday he felt like someone was following him." Ethan looked at Lucas sharply. "And you're telling me this now?" Lucas held up a hand. "He didn't want me to. He said it made him look weak." Camille scoffed. "Jonas looking weak is the least surprising thing to happen today." Amara ran her finger over the red circle on the folder again. "Where would he go?" Ethan didn't hesitate. "His backup office." Lucas nodded. "Yes, he keeps duplicates there." Camille crossed her arms. "Lead the way." They moved fast. Back into the hallway, down the back stairwell to avoid cameras, through a maintenance corridor that smelled like dust and oil. Amara kept Ethan's hand clasped in hers, her steps echoing against the cold floor. They reached the sub-level offices, an area few people even knew existed. Small, cluttered rooms where forgotten interns once sat. Jonas had kept one for years, claiming it helped him think without distractions. Lucas swiped his badge. The door clicked. They stepped inside and froze. The tiny office was a mess. Clothes on the floor, a broken lamp, papers scattered everywhere, and the faint sound of something buzzing. Amara's breath caught. "Is someone here?" "No," Ethan whispered. He moved cautiously around the desk. Then he saw it. A phone. Jonas's phone. On the floor, the screen cracked, vibrating with repeated calls. Camille knelt, picked it up. The screen lit up. 2 missed calls, both from the same name. Unknown contact. Ethan's voice hardened. "He didn't go willingly." Lucas swallowed. "There's more." He crouched near the trash bin, pulling out a small envelope, ripped open. Inside was a tiny flash drive, bent and snapped in half. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "He tried to destroy something." Camille examined the broken drive. "He failed. Whoever came after him didn't give him time." Amara's stomach twisted. "Is he—" Ethan shook his head. "Nobody, no blood. If they wanted him dead, they wouldn't take him." Camille added, "And they wouldn't leave his phone. This was a grab, not a kill." Amara exhaled slowly. "So they kidnapped him?" Lucas nodded. "Or coerced him. Jonas talks big, but he breaks easily." Ethan stepped back, pulling out his own phone. "We need to follow his trail." He scanned the room again. Amara's eyes drifted to a corner where a stack of boxes leaned against the wall. Something glinted near them. She walked over. "Ethan, there's something here." He rushed to her side. On the floor, half hidden under the debris, was a small card key, clean, unmarked, except for one tiny detail, a symbol pressed into the plastic, a serpent wrapped around a needle. Camille inhaled sharply. "No." Lucas's face went pale. "It can't be. They shut that program down years ago." Ethan took the card key, turning it over in his hands. "They didn't shut anything down," he murmured. They just went underground. Amara blinked. What is this? What does that symbol mean? Ethan looked at her, and for the first time that night, she saw real fear in his eyes. It's the mark of the people who trained Mara, he said quietly. And the people who tried to train me? Amara felt her blood freeze. What kind of training? She whispered. Ethan's voice dropped low. The kind that destroys anyone who fails? The room felt colder. The air is heavier. Camille touched the doorframe. If they're involved, this isn't sabotage anymore. Lucas nodded grimly. This is a shadow group, one with reach beyond the board. Amara stepped closer to Ethan, her pulse pounding. What do they want? Ethan stared at the serpent symbol and whispered the last answer she wanted to hear. You? Amara felt the weight of Ethan's last words sink into her bones. You? The room suddenly felt too small, too dark, too cold. She stepped back instinctively, her back hitting the wall. Why me? I don't have anything they want. I don't have money. I don't have power. That's exactly why, Camille cut in, her voice low. Powerless people are easier to weaponize. Lucas added, they don't just recruit designers, they recruit leverage. Ethan rubbed a hand through his hair, pacing once, before turning back to her. Amara, listen. No. She shook her head hard. No, you don't get to look at me like that and say my name like you're about to tell me the world is ending. Because it is, Camille muttered. Ethan shot her a warning look. Not helping. Amara's breaths came sharp. Tell me what that symbol means. I'm not moving from this spot until you do. Ethan hesitated. Actually hesitated. Something she'd never seen him do. Something that scared her more than anything Mara had said. Camille exhaled. I'll tell her, you won't. Ethan stiffened but didn't stop her. Camille stepped closer to Amara, voice low, steady. Years ago, Vale Cooter didn't just produce designs. They produced people. Amara frowned. What does that mean? It means Ethan's father built a training circle, Camille said. A secret one, meant to create unbreakable leaders and remove weak links. A private machine for grooming the next generation of power. A shiver ran through Amara. So Mara was one of his success stories, Camille said. And Ethan? Amara whispered. Camille looked at him. Was supposed to be. Ethan's jaw tightened. Amara's heart sank. Is that true? He didn't speak, didn't nod, didn't deny it. He simply held her gaze with a quiet heaviness that told her everything. You were trained to be like her, Amara whispered, cold, calculated. No, Ethan finally said. I was trained to replace my father. Those skills come with consequences. Consequences like what? She demanded. Ethan exhaled slowly. Making people disappear. Controlling outcomes. Erasing mistakes. My father called it survival. Amara stared at him, swallowing hard. And you didn't finish it? Because I refused, he said. They wanted a CEO without conscience, someone who made decisions without hesitation. I wasn't him. Camille crossed her arms. And that's why they trained Mara instead. Lucas added quietly, and why are they protecting her now? Amara pressed a hand to her chest, trying to steady her breathing. So Mara isn't just a rival designer. No, Ethan said. She's their weapon. And Jonas? Amara asked. Jonas was an accident, Camille said. He got too close to their circle without realizing what he was stepping into. Lucas nodded. He's always chasing power. The wrong kind of people noticed? Amara looked at the card key again, cold, metallic, branded with a serpent around a needle. Why would they want me? She whispered. Because you matter to Ethan, Camille answered bluntly. Hurting you destabilizes him. Ethan's voice dropped. That's not happening. Camille raised an eyebrow. Well, right now it is. Amara stepped back again, everything spinning. So, this isn't about the dress, or the video, or even the board. No, Ethan said. Those were just tools, Lucas added. The real objective is control. Over the company, over Ethan. And they're using you to get it. Amara sank onto a nearby chair, her legs giving out. I didn't sign up for any of this. Ethan crouched in front of her, his hands gently covering her knees. I know, and I'm sorry you're in it because of me. She blinked hard, tears threatening. Why didn't you tell me any of this sooner? Because I didn't want this world touching you, he said. His voice cracked, just enough to break her. You walked into my life because you loved the work, the craft. You didn't choose any of this darkness. I didn't want you to see what my family built. Her breath wavered, but now I'm drowning in it. He lowered his forehead to hers. You won't drown, not while I'm here. Her tears escaped. Ethan, his hands cupped her face. I'll burn that entire circle to the ground before I let them touch you. The intensity of his voice stole her breath. Camille cleared her throat. Touching moment, but we need to move. Ethan stood, pulling Amara gently up with him. Lucas tapped the symbol on the card key. This card leads to their safe room, the place where they store leverage, files, blackmail, digital access. Amara swallowed. So if we find that room, we found the truth, Ethan said. Evidence, motives, all of it. And Jonas? She asked. Maybe even him, Camille added. Ethan pocketed the key. We're going. Lucas grabbed a flashlight. You'll need this. Their safe room isn't in this building. Where is it? Amara asked. Lucas looked at Ethan. Ethan looked at Camille. Camille whispered, You're not going to like the answer. Say it, Amara demanded. Lucas took a breath. It's in the basement of your grandmother's store. The silence that followed was so sharp, it felt like glass. Amara's heart dropped into her stomach. No, that's impossible. She would have told me. She would have noticed. They built it years ago, Lucas said softly. Before she bought the property. Before the renovations, it's hidden behind the original wall structure. Camille added, and the attack on the shop, that wasn't random. They were covering their tracks. Amara staggered back. So, the people trying to destroy my life were operating under my grandmother's feet this entire time? Ethan placed his hand over hers, steadying her. This is why they dragged her name into it, he said. Because the store has access history tied to the old system. Camille nodded. They're using her existence to hide their own crimes. Amara felt sick. They're using my life, my family, my home. Ethan squeezed her hand. Not anymore. She looked up at him, tears burning her eyes. What if they hurt her? His voice dropped into something dark and deadly. Then they deal with me? Lucas grabbed his backpack. We need to move before they clear the room. Camille flicked off the light switch. We don't have long. Ethan intertwined his fingers with Amara's. Amara Jones, he said quietly. We're going to your grandmother's store. Tonight. She swallowed hard, fear and anger swirling in her chest. Then let's go, she whispered. Because if they wanted a war, she wasn't running anymore. The drive to Evelyn's store felt different this time. Not frightening, not even tense. Electric. A storm building in the dark. Amara sat pressed against the door, her fingers locked with Ethan's as the city rushed past them in streaks of color. Her mind kept replaying one image, her grandmother's name circled in red, used, violated, turned into a weapon. It made something hot burn in her chest, something that felt dangerously close to fury. Camille rode in the front, scrolling through files, murmuring things under her breath. Lucas sat on Amara's other side, tapping nervously at the flashlight in his hand. Nobody spoke for a long stretch of road. Then Lucas broke the silence. "I want to explain something," he said quietly. Amara looked at him. Lucas swallowed hard. "Your grandmother is not a target because she did something wrong. She's a target because she was invisible. People in power, real power. They use the ones who can't defend themselves. People who don't know how to check their credit reports or track suspicious logins. People who believe systems protect them." Amara's throat tightened. "She's not weak." "I know that," Lucas said gently. "But she trusts people. Too much." Ethan nodded. "They rely on that." Amara stared out the window. "Who are these people exactly? What do they want with me?" Camille answered without looking back. "They want Ethan, your leverage." Amara's jaw tensed. "I'm so tired of being leverage." "You're not," Ethan said. "Not anymore." She met his eyes. He wasn't blinking. His fingers tightened around hers. "You're the reason I'm done playing by their rules." That hit her like a blow to the chest. Soft, painful, necessary. Before she could speak, Camille tapped the dashboard. "We're here." The car slowed to a stop in front of Evelyn's shop. The street was quiet. Too quiet. The last time they were here, the window had been smashed, glass everywhere. Now it was patched with a temporary board. The red spray paint was gone, but the memory wasn't. Amara stepped out and inhaled sharply. The faint smell of paint still lingered. Ethan scanned the area, one hand instinctively reaching back for Amara's. "Stay close," he said. She didn't argue. Lucas flicked the flashlight on and gestured to the back. "The entrance isn't through the shop, it's behind it." "Why behind?" Amara asked. "Because they designed the store to look harmless," Lucas said. "But the real infrastructure sits behind the original foundation." They followed him down the narrow alley. Amara's heart pounded harder with every step. When Lucas stopped, they faced a rusted metal door. Nothing special, nothing suspicious, just a door. Amara frowned. "My grandmother never mentioned this." "She couldn't?" Ethan said softly. "The previous owners built it long before she ever rented this place." Lucas crouched and pressed his hand against the latch. "The lock is wired, needs a physical key card." Ethan pulled out the card they found in Jonas's backup office. The serpent curled around the needle glinted in the moonlight. Amara felt her skin crawl. "Do it," Camille said. Ethan slid the card into the hidden slot on the side. The door gave a soft, mechanical click. Ethan pushed it open slowly. A gust of cold air hit them. Sterile, metallic, buzzing with electricity. The kind of smell that didn't belong anywhere near a small neighborhood shop. Camille's breath caught. "Oh, they hit a full facility down here." The room beyond the door wasn't a basement. It was a lab. Rows of machines, screens, data towers humming quietly. A long steel table in the center. Wires draping from the ceiling. A thick pane of glass separating one section from another. Amara's stomach dropped. "What is this place?" she whispered. "Control," Camille said. "This is a control hub." Lucas stepped forward, stunned. "I've worked here for 10 years. How did I not know this existed?" "Because you weren't supposed to," Ethan said. He walked inside, jaw clenched so hard the muscle visibly strained. His father's legacy pulsed through the walls, not just wealth and power, but secrecy, manipulation, the kind of influence that ruined lives from the shadows. Amara followed him, her fingers brushing cold metal. Screens flickered to life as they stepped in, reacting to motion. Dozens of files appeared. Encrypted folders, employee records, and a thumbnail. Her heart skipped. A thumbnail of herself. Amara stepped closer, hand trembling. "Ethan." He appeared beside her instantly. Her face stared back from the screen. The fake footage. The doctored fitting room video. Ethan opened it. The sound turned her stomach. Her own voice. Warped, manipulated, paired with a smile that wasn't hers. A movement she never made. A dress she never touched. But the quality? Terrifyingly real. Her breath trembled. I didn't. She clutched her chest. "I know," Ethan whispered fiercely, wrapping an arm around her. "I know you didn't. This isn't you." Her eyes burned. "But people will believe it." "No," Ethan growled. "They won't. Not when we expose the source." Camille leaned over the terminal. This file wasn't edited by a freelance faker. This was done with a proprietary tool. "Meaning?" Lucas asked. "Meaning," Camille said slowly, "someone with direct access to this system created it." Ethan's eyes snapped wide. "Which means—" "Mara did not act alone," Camille finished. "She had help from someone in this room, or someone with access to it." Amara swallowed hard. "So, someone who knows how to use this tech." Lucas turned pale. "That narrows it down." Ethan tapped a few commands, pulling up another file. Then he froze. Camille leaned over. "What is it?" Ethan didn't move for several seconds. Then he whispered, "This is dated from years ago." Amara stepped closer. "What is it?" Ethan clicked the file. A younger Mara appeared on screen, thinner, eyes hollow, hair tied back tightly. She stood in the same lab, speaking to a man whose face wasn't visible. Voice distorted. Mara said, "I'll do whatever you want. Train me. Just make me better than him." Him. Amara didn't have to ask who she meant. Ethan slammed the monitor with his fist. "Damn it." Lucas flinched. Camille whispered, "She was groomed to replace you." "And she did everything they asked," Ethan said bitterly. "Everything I refused to." Amara squeezed his hand. "That's not your fault." He looked at her. Anger, guilt, and something tender flickering in his expression. "But you are suffering because of it." "No," Amara said. "I'm suffering because someone else chose to manipulate me, not you." His eyes softened for half a second. Then another screen blinked on. A static feed. Then a room. Then a figure. Amara gasped. Jonas, tied to a chair, bruised, gagged, and behind him, a shadow. Tall, still, watching the camera. Camille exhaled sharply. "We're not the only ones in the system." Ethan stepped closer, voice dropping into a cold, controlled tone Amara had never heard from him. "They're taunting us." The shadow leaned closer to the camera. Then a voice crackled through the speakers. A voice Amara had heard only once in the hallway. Low, smooth, terrifying. "You're late." Ethan's spine went rigid. Amara grabbed his arm. "Who is that?" she whispered. Ethan's jaw tightened. "My father's right hand." The shadow moved again. "And Amara Jones," the voice said. "Welcome to the game." Amara felt her blood freeze. "We've been waiting for you." The feed cut. The room fell silent. Then Ethan whispered the only words that made sense. "They want to meet." Amara stared at the blank screen, her pulse hammering in her ears. The shadowy figure's last words clung to the cold air of the hidden lab. "Welcome to the game." A game she never asked to be part of. A game that had already ruined her career, attacked her grandmother's shop, kidnapped Jonas, and twisted her into the center of a conspiracy birthed long before she ever stepped foot inside Vale Kuchar. Ethan stood frozen, his shoulders rigid, face etched with a fury she had never seen, not even during the runway disaster, not even when the fake footage dropped. This was different, personal. Camille approached the screen slowly, eyes narrowed. Did he say what I think he said? Lucas nodded stiffly. They want Ethan. They always have. And they're using her to get him, Camille added, glancing at Amara. Amara's heart tightened. If they want me so badly, why not take me themselves? Why do all this? Because they want you desperate, disoriented, and isolated, Camille said. That makes you easier to manipulate, easier to break. Ethan turned sharply. They will not break her. And how exactly do you plan to stop them, Vale? Camille challenged. They're 3 steps ahead already. They kidnapped Jonas knowing you'd come looking. They left breadcrumbs knowing you'd follow. They let you find this place knowing it would rattle you. Ethan's eyes darkened. Then we rattle them back. Camille rolled her eyes. You can't out-anger a shadow network. Watch me. Amara stepped closer to him, her voice gentle but strained. Ethan, we need to think, not react. He looked at her, really looked, and the hardness in his expression cracked. She could see the fear beneath. Not for himself, for her. He exhaled slowly, brushing a thumb along the back of her hand. You're right. Camille groaned. Of course she's right. She's the only one in this room you actually listen to. Lucas was squatting by a control panel in the corner. This setup, it's not standard security. It's not even company-related. It's something else entirely. What do you mean? Amara asked. Lucas pointed at a series of wires running into what looked like a black cube embedded into the wall. This is a data tunnel. It routes information directly to an off-site server, a private one. No corporate network, no digital footprint. Camille stiffened. Meaning someone outside the company is pulling strings. And not just someone, Lucas continued. Someone with resources. Someone who knows what they're doing. Ethan rubbed his temples. My father? The room fell silent. Not because the guess was shocking, but because it wasn't. Amara whispered, You think he's still involved? Ethan didn't answer immediately. He looked around the lab. The machines, the encryption locks, the infrastructure hidden under the place where Evelyn sold fabrics and buttons. My father built this system, he said softly. And when he retired, he didn't dismantle it. Camille's face twisted. He kept his influence alive even after stepping back from the company. Lucas stood. If your father is still connected to this network, Ethan finished the thought. Then he's the one protecting Mara. And he's the one who wants Amara. Amara felt the ground tilt beneath her. Ethan stepped toward her again, hands gently resting on her arms. Hey, don't look like that. How am I supposed to look? She whispered. Your father, this secret group, Mara. They all want something from me, and I don't even understand what it is. His hand slid down to hold hers, grounding her. You don't need to understand it yet. You just stay beside me. I'll handle the rest. She shook her head. Ethan, I don't want you to handle everything alone. His throat bobbed with a swallow. I don't have a choice. You do, she insisted. Let me fight with you. He stared at her. And for the first time, something like awe flickered in his eyes. You're not afraid anymore, he murmured. She almost laughed. I'm terrified. But I'm done letting fear control me. Camille smirked. Good, because we're about to do something extremely stupid. Amara blinked. What? Lucas pointed toward the far wall. That glass partition? Behind it is the access tunnel. It leads to a private room. A private room? Amara echoed. The nerve center, Lucas said, where the top-level data is processed. If Jonas left anything behind or triggered any emergency logs before he was taken, that's where we'll find it, Camille finished. Ethan cracked his knuckles. Then let's go. Lucas tapped on the glass. It didn't budge. Camille raised an eyebrow. It's reinforced. Needs the card key again. Ethan pulled the serpent card from his pocket, but before he could swipe it, the lights flickered. Once, twice. Then the room plunged into darkness. Amara's breath caught. Ethan, his hand found hers instantly. I'm here. Lucas cursed softly. Someone cut power to the room. Camille activated her phone flashlight. No, not just this room. The entire block lost power. A faint rumbling noise filled the air, coming from the tunnel. Amara turned slowly toward the sound. Someone's coming, she whispered. Ethan stepped in front of her, shielding her with his body. Camille grabbed a metal rod from the table. Perfect. Mid-level cult members coming to murder us at midnight. Love it. Lucas pulled out a tiny multi-tool, far less impressive than Camille's rod. I wasn't trained for this. Neither was I, Amara muttered. Ethan squeezed her hand, voice low and steady. Behind me. Don't move. The rumbling grew louder. Then, a sharp metallic clang echoed through the tunnel. Then a voice. Calm. Smooth. Chilling. Ethan Vale? Amara's blood froze. Even in the darkness, she felt Ethan stiffen. Camille whispered under her breath, "Oh, shh." The voice continued, "You shouldn't have come here." Amara's heart slammed against her ribs. "Who is that?" Ethan whispered. "My father's right hand. The man who trained Mara." Footsteps echoed. Closer. Closer. Camille raised her rod. Lucas raised his multi-tool like it was a sword. Ethan pulled Amara tight against him. The man stepped into view, tall, immaculate suit, silver hair, eyes like polished stone, composed in the dark as if the shadows belonged to him. He looked at Amara, straight at her. "Amara Jones," he said, "I have been waiting for you." Her pulse stuttered. "Why?" A small smile touched his lips, chilling her to the bone. "Because you are the variable Ethan was never meant to have." Ethan stepped in front of her. "You don't get to speak to her." The man's smile widened slightly. "You can't protect her from destiny." "Watch me," Ethan growled. The man simply adjusted his sleeve, calm, confident, untouchable. Then he said, "Mara has given her final command." Camille stiffened. "What command?" The man's eyes sharpened. "Bring you both in." Ethan grabbed Amara's wrist. "Run." Ethan didn't wait for a second command. He yanked Amara toward the far exit just as the man lunged forward with impossible speed. Silent, composed, terrifying. Camille swung the metal rod with a vicious arc, aiming for his head. He caught it. With 2 fingers, the metal clanged and stopped midair. Camille's eyes went wide. "You've got to be kidding me." He twisted. The rod snapped like it was made of plastic. Lucas let out a choked sound. "We're going to die. This is it. This is the end." "Lucas, move!" Camille shouted. Ethan shoved Amara through the doorway into the narrow hall connecting the lab to the older foundation. The air was damp and musky. Stone walls, flickering emergency lights, shadows stretching long and sharp. Amara stumbled, grabbing the wall for balance. Behind her she heard Camille grunt, Lucas yelp, and the stranger's calm, steady footsteps. "Ethan," she gasped. He grabbed her chin, steady and fierce. "Look at me." Her breathing stuttered. "You run when I say run," he said. "You stop when I stop. You don't look back. Understood?" She nodded, terrified. Ethan pulled her into motion again. "Go." They sprinted down the hallway. Camille and Lucas followed seconds later. Camille panting, Lucas shaking so badly his flashlight beam jittered across the walls. Behind them? Footsteps, slow, deliberate, hunting, not chasing, hunting. "Is he following us?" Lucas breathed. "No," Camille snapped. "He's stalking. He should be running. That's the point. He doesn't need to. Amara forced her legs faster. Where does this hallway lead? Ethan's voice was tight. There's a service elevator at the end. It exits behind the shop. If we can reach it, we can... A loud metallic boom echoed through the tunnel. The emergency lights flickered violently, then died. Darkness swallowed them whole. Amara's scream caught in her throat. Ethan! Ethan! Where? His arms wrapped around her waist instantly. I'm here. I've got you. Camille slapped her phone flashlight on. A thin, shaky beam cut through the black. Everyone stay close. Lucas fumbled with another light, dropping it twice before it flicked on. Camille lifted her beam toward the hall behind them. Empty, silent, no footsteps, no movement, no man in the immaculate suit. Lucas whispered, "Where the hell did he go?" No one answered. Ethan put his mouth near Amara's ear. "Stay in front of me." She swallowed. "What if he's behind us?" "He won't touch you," Ethan said. "Not while I'm standing." His voice, it wasn't bravado. It wasn't a bluff. It was a promise. They moved, fast, silent. Every creak of old wood made Amara jump. Every drip of water echoed like a scream. Her heart beat so fast it hurt. Camille suddenly hissed, "Stop!" They froze. She tilted her light upward. Something was hanging from the ceiling. At first, Amara thought it was a cable. Then she saw the fabric. A sleeve. A torn sleeve. And then, "Oh my God," Lucas whispered. It wasn't a cable. It was Jonas's suit jacket, pinned to the ceiling with a silver needle. Ethan cursed. Camille shook her head slowly. "He left us a message." "What message?" Amara cried. Camille motioned to the ceiling. That he could have pinned Jonas. Amara's stomach turned. Lucas's lips trembled. "He wants us to know he's in control. And that he's ahead of us," Camille said. Ethan didn't break stride. "Then we move faster." They reached the end of the hall where a metal elevator door stood old and rusted. Ethan slammed his palm against the button. Nothing. "Come on," he muttered. "Come on!" Lucas shoved him aside. "It's mechanical. Let me—" He pried open the panel, crossing wires, sparks flying, hands trembling. "Hurry!" Camille barked. "I'm trying. This is old. This is really old." A click, then a grinding sound. The door slid halfway open. "Go!" Ethan ordered. Amara ducked inside first, crawling into the small industrial car. Camille shoved Lucas in, then climbed in herself. Ethan was last. He turned to look down the dark hallway one more time. Nothing. Silence. But Amara felt him tense, like he sensed something she couldn't see. "Ethan, please," she begged. He stepped in, pulling the door shut with both hands. The elevator lurched upward, shaking violently. Lucas slumped to the floor. "I'm never doing this again. Ever. I quit. I quit everything." Camille nudged him with her shoe. "Shut up and breathe." Amara pressed her back against the wall, chest heaving. Ethan stood in front of her, close enough that she could feel the electricity radiating off him. She whispered, "He knew we'd come." "Yes," Ethan said. "He planned this," she whispered. "Yes." "He wants us." "Yes." Her eyes stung. "Why?" Ethan looked at her the way a man looks at the only good thing he's ever had. "Because you matter," he said. "More than they want me to understand." She shook her head. "This is because of you. Because they want to control you and hurt you." "No," he said. "This is because they're afraid of you." She stared at him. "Afraid of me?" Ethan nodded slowly. "You walked into a world built on fear, and you didn't bend. You don't take orders. You don't play by their hierarchy. You challenge people who have never been challenged." Her breath trembled. "I didn't mean to. That's why it works." The elevator jolted and stopped abruptly. They all froze. Lucas whispered, Are we stuck? The door creaked open. The alley behind the store loomed ahead. Cold air rushed in. No shadows, no footsteps, no watchers. For now. Ethan grabbed Amara's hand and pulled her into the night. Camille leaned close to him. They want you to run. I know. Are we going to run? No. Good. Lucas rubbed his face. So, we're marching into an ambush with a billionaire, an intern, and a sociopath with a metal stick. Camille glared. Say sociopath one more time. Lucas shut up instantly. Amara turned to Ethan. What now? He slipped an arm around her waist. We found Jonas. And after that, he looked down at her, eyes burning. After that, he said quietly, we take down the people who think they own us. Amara swallowed hard. Ethan, if this gets worse, it will, he said. She nodded once. And if they come after me again? They will. She took a shaky breath. Then stay close. He pulled her against him, forehead touching hers. I'm not going anywhere. A faint click echoed from the alley entrance. They snapped toward the sound. A phone, dropping to the ground, screen face up. Amara recognized it. Her grandmother's phone. The screen lit up. One new message from an unknown number. Ethan picked it up and opened the text. It read, She's with us. Amara's knees buckled. No, no, no. Ethan caught her. Camille inhaled sharply. They took Evelyn. Amara shook her head violently, tears spilling. No, they wouldn't. She's old. She doesn't. She's innocent. Ethan pulled her against his chest, holding her together as she shook. We'll get her back. How? She cried. How, Ethan? They're always ahead, always watching, always. He held her face, forcing her eyes to meet his. Because now, he said softly, they made a mistake. Her breath hitched. What mistake? They touched someone you love, he whispered, and I will burn their entire world down for that. Amara trembled. Ethan pressed his forehead to hers. We're not running anymore, he said. We're hunting. Amara's body was shaking so badly Ethan had to keep both arms around her just to keep her upright. Her grandmother. Her sweet, soft-voiced, gentle grandmother, taken by the same people who forged videos, attacked the shop, stalked them in hallways, and hunted them through tunnels. Her voice broke. Ethan, they have her. They have her. His grip on her waist tightened. They won't keep her. Camille stood in the alley, jaw tight, eyes sharp. We need to move, now, before they send another message. Lucas checked the street anxiously. We can't stay here. If they took Evelyn, they want us next. No, Camille muttered. They want him next. Ethan ignored them all. He took Amara's face in both hands gently but firmly, forcing her eyes to stay on his. Listen to me, he whispered. Your grandmother is not alone. She's not lost. She is alive, and she is counting on us. Tears dripped down Amara's cheeks. What if they hurt her? They won't, Ethan said, voice low, trembling with rage he was barely containing. Because hurting her won't break you, losing her would, and they still need you intact. Amara swallowed hard. Why? Why do they need me so badly? Ethan hesitated, then answered without flinching. Because you changed me, he said, and that scares them more than anything. Her breath caught. He continued. They trained me to be cold, controlled, predictable. But when you walked into my life, you showed me something they can't manipulate. What? She whispered. Choice, Ethan said. You made me choose who I want to be, not who they made me. She stared at him, heart splitting open under the heaviness of his words. And then a car turned into the alley. Not quickly, not threateningly. Slowly, too slowly. Camille moved in front of them with the broken metal rod she still clung to. Lucas stepped behind a dumpster like it was a bunker. Ethan pulled Amara behind him again. Protective, instinctive, immovable. The car rolled closer. A sleek, black sedan. Tires are almost silent on the concrete. No license plate. Then the back window rolled down. Amara's knees buckled. Evelyn, blindfolded, mouth taped, hands tied. Her grandmother, alive, but shaking. Amara choked out a strangled cry. "Grandma!" A gloved hand pulled the blindfold off Evelyn's face. Her wide, tear-filled eyes searched the alley until they landed on Amara. Her muffled voice cracked with panic. Era!" Ethan stepped forward, fury radiating from every muscle in his body. "Let her go." A calm, unhurried voice floated from the front seat. "She will be returned when the girl comes with us." Amara froze. Ethan did not. "Over my dead body," he said. "That," the voice replied, "is the complication." The driver leaned forward into the faint street light. Silver hair, emotionless eyes. The same man from the tunnel, Ethan's father's. Right hand? He spoke smoothly, like discussing the weather. "Amara Jones must enter the car willingly. If she does, the grandmother goes free." "Absolutely not," Ethan spat. Amara stared at Evelyn, trembling, terrified, almost collapsing onto the seat. Her chest shattered. "Ethan," she whispered. "No." He grabbed her arms. "Don't even think about it. They'll hurt her." "They will hurt you," he hissed. "Worse. You don't know what they do to people they train. You don't know." His voice broke. He pulled her close, forehead against hers again, breath shaking. "Please, don't leave my side." Amara whispered, "I can't let her die because of me." He cupped the back of her head, almost desperate. "She will not die, I swear to you, I swear." Camille grabbed Amara's wrist. "He's right. If you go, we lose any advantage. They vanish with you, and we never find you." "They'll kill my grandmother," Amara cried. "Not immediately," Camille said. "They only showed her to pressure you. She's leverage, not a target." The car door opened. The silver-haired man stepped out, straightening his jacket. "4 minutes," he said calmly. "If the girl does not come, the grandmother is retired." Amara's scream tore from her throat. "No!" Ethan stepped between her and the man. "Touch her, and I will end you." The man smiled slightly. "You tried that once before, remember? When did your father assign you to me?" Ethan's hands curled into fists. Amara's eyes widened. "He was your trainer?" Ethan didn't answer, because if he did, the truth might destroy him. The man held up a hand. "Time is moving. Choose." Amara looked at her grandmother again through the open car door, shaking, gagged, begging with her eyes. Her whole world collapsed into one impossible choice: give herself up, or lose the person who raised her. A small, broken whisper left her lips. "I have to go." Ethan spun toward her. "No, you don't. You can't. You won't." She placed her hands on his chest, tears flooding her face. "Ethan, I have no choice." He grabbed her wrists. "You do. Choose me." She choked. "If I choose you, she dies." His chest heaved. "If you choose them, you might never come back." "I'll come back," she whispered. "You don't know that," he said, voice breaking. Amara pressed her trembling forehead to his. "Find me," she whispered. "Promise you'll find me." He closed his eyes, agony crashing across his face. "Always." She slowly stepped back. Ethan grabbed her hand, hard, like he wasn't ready to breathe without her. "Amara, let me go," she whispered, tears dripping off her jaw. He shook his head violently. "No." "Ethan, no." The man's voice echoed across the alley. 2 minutes. Amara inhaled shakily. She pried her hand from Ethan's. He flinched like she stabbed him. Camille whispered, "Amara, don't you dare!" But Amara had already stepped toward the car, toward her grandmother, toward the trap. But when she reached the door, she did something none of them expected. She turned. I looked right at Ethan, eyes blazing, and she said, "Come get me." Ethan stepped forward. Camille grabbed his arm. "Not now, not like this." He shook her off like she weighed nothing. But Amara was already sliding into the car, already holding her grandmother's shaking hands, already sealing her fate. The door slammed. Ethan lunged. The man stepped between them. "You will receive instructions soon," he said. Ethan tried to push past him, but the car screeched backward with a violent jolt, tires burning the pavement. "Amara!" Ethan roared. "Evelyn!" The car shot forward and vanished into the night. Ethan fell to his knees, fingers digging into the concrete, breath torn from his lungs. Amara was gone. Camille swallowed hard. They didn't take her to kill her. Lucas shook, pale and frantic. "But they might." "No," Camille said. "They took her to break Ethan, and they don't know him like we do." Ethan stood slowly, not broken, not crushed, something else entirely, something dangerous, burning. He looked at Camille. "We're getting her back." "Obviously," she said. "And then," Lucas whispered. Ethan's eyes blazed. "Then we burn this entire network down." They thought the war ended tonight, but the real enemy hasn't even shown their face yet. If you're still here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Because episode 3, that's where the hunt begins.